Katrina Voices is a project of the Louisiana Children's Museum. When disaster strikes, the news coverage is generally by and for adults. Rarely is the story told by children. The museum wanted to hear the voices of our youngest citizens, children of New Orleans and the surrounding communities. Their stories are journeys of personal growth, love, and resilience. Hear the voices of Katrina.
My grandmother's from there, so I spent a lot of summers and vacations there. So, you know, it's just like a big vacation to me. But after Katrina, we moved back to my dad's.
It was hard. It was hard to pick up and just even evacuate, because if you don't have the means, like you might not have a car. So you can't really evacuate like you really want to.
We generally just associated evacuations with school being out for a couple of days and then coming back and just like, hey, a little vacation. But then when it really hit that we weren't coming home, it was like, well, what are we gonna do? So our mom enrolled us in school and we made it through that school year, but we definitely had our highs and lows.
I guess try to find something that makes you so happy and focus on it and see that thing at the end of the tunnel. Like, you're gonna get through it, and you're just because of this. During the storm, my brother was born, and so that's what kind of took Katrina from this terrible thing and made it this amazing thing to me, is I got a new brother out of the experience, like my partner in crime.
We pretty much lost almost everything, the house, family members, even though we lost everything, we still try to pick ourselves back up way after Katrina. We're still doing it now.
People that helped me keep pushing forward were my parents. Like one example was when my dad went back before my family and just started working on the house just to make sure like everything was fine when we got back. I mean, that just like showed me from the beginning how to just keep like working through things.
I've been through like this big change, so it opened up my mind and I began to look into like things like writing. My imagination went other places. So I take notes in my diary about how I felt and how it changed me to go through by me only being 4 years old and going into that big change to something new. That was my first time.
Going through Katrina has made me a tougher person because I know that I can go through anything. So just to see my family go through that made me tough, because it's like we need to appreciate, you know, the life that we create in a house, not just the frame of the house, but the life that you create inside of it. You know, just to watch that be taken from them in a storm made me a tougher person. I'm so proud of the city. That's why I'm crying, because I really love it here.
The biggest way that Katrina and living in New Orleans has really impacted my personality and who I am is really because here I definitely could tell the difference from when I go to other places, and being here is that everyone like has a strong sense of being close, and I think that you get a real family vibe from living here, so it's really easy to just come back and just be a part of like my community.
I think I would tell any child going through that experience that, first of all, your parents know what they're doing, hopefully, and they will protect you, and everything is, in the end, no matter what happens, will turn out fine.
It was young, and you go through a natural disaster, the best thing you can do, like, rodents or people have died. You know, you still did, even though you're building your house.
The biggest thing that I remember is the smell, because it was just that watery, moldy smell. I can still smell it today, and it was just everywhere, all over the city, all over Lakeview. Couldn't escape it. It was everywhere, and it was even worse when we got into our house. And in our house, everything was just on the floor. And, you know, things that were my prized possessions, like my Hello Kitty clock, were just like shattered. And one thing I do remember, which was pretty cool, all of the religious statues that we had in our house were still standing up. So everything else was trash and everything was on the floor, but the Mary statues and the Jesus statues that we had were all up straight. So that was really, really, really special and really cool to see.
The city was so dull, so sad. There were rodents. You could cross the street and there was a rodent that would run across the street. There were roaches, nasty insects, snakes. But the city wasn't like the city that we left before. When we came back, it was so energy deprived. It wasn't live.
My best friend and I, we're still best friends, which is great. She's lived all over the place because of the storm. And I went back to her house with her for the first time after Katrina. She wanted me to come. And we walked into her house, and her house was completely ruined. I think they got 9 feet of water. And so we were looking through all the rooms, trying to see if anything had survived. And we opened a closet, and there was this, one of our favorite tea sets, and we used to always have tea parties. And it must have floated up with the water and then just floated right back down because it was really dirty, but it was completely safe. It was fine.
So walking through this like flooded school as a 5-year-old was kind of like, it's kind of fun and exciting. It was like this whole new place that was kind of like, there was stuff like I could go on the playground and jump in the puddles because I had like big old high rain boots on. So I didn't really fully understand that it was like this was a bad thing. I was more like, oh, it's a water park. I can go down the slide, fall in a puddle, you know, but you can just climb on everything.
What motivates me to stay in the city is the people here. Everyone's so friendly, the people I've met. When you go through something traumatic, you're obviously gonna bond. And it's not the city I'm afraid of leaving, it's the people that I'm afraid of leaving.
In the future, I want to stay here in New Orleans because it's always been my home. It's what I love. I love everything about this city. I love riding downtown with the windows down and like listening to music and just looking around and people watch and hearing live music and all the bands and like French Quarter Fest, Jazz Fest. Anything that has to do with music, I love it. I love New Orleans.
I think New Orleans has grown a lot. Like we have a lot of new things and that we didn't have before. We're rebuilding slowly, but I think it's gonna be a big, like one of the top places in the upcoming future. And I think that's due to the storm. People are coming here and they're rebuilding and beautiful.
So when the hurricane hit, I was 10, so if there was anyone around that age now being affected by a hurricane, I would tell them that it's not the end of the world and to hang in there and to be strong. And you know, we might lose some items and, you know, material things, but as long as we still have our lives, you know, we should be grateful for what we have and how we've made it through.
First time I
Keep
back
pushing
to
on.
New Orleans after the storm.
Going to school because my mom couldn't get me there. That's what I go to, so I went into the classroom with her. She had to carry me because it was.
We went to South Dakota, and it was not the same as New Orleans, but like that. It was very cold, a lot of new people. There's a lot of changes, a new school, just kind of weird.
Like, I really didn't know what was going on. I was confused. Why do we have to move, Mommy? What's going on? Like, why do we have to go? Why do we have to leave? And we're gonna see my friends again? Like, what's going on? Like, kept asking that over and over and over again.
While we were evacuated, we had Christmas in Homa, and like our whole family came, so it was like both sides. So it was like a lot of people in like a really small space. And we had lots of memories because we were like on the water, so we had like mice. So like we were singing Happy Birthday, and we were like standing on the table when we were singing because someone just saw mice and stuff. The process of things changing, it was good because like everything was like sort of going back to normal. So like all of a sudden you'd see, oh look, something else is getting built, and it's like the parish was being rebuilt, and it like looked like it used to.
It was my first day, and I was so flustered, and I was so confused about what was going on. I didn't really understand anything, and I just remember this girl sitting next to me, and she looked at me and she was like, I think you need a pencil for that. And I just sort of laughed, and I said, thank you, and I took a pencil.
The advice I would give younger kids, I would say be open about the idea, because when I was their age, I really didn't want to leave. I loved everything about being here, and when I found out that when the hurricane was gonna happen, I was sad because I didn't want to move to Baton Rouge. I didn't want to start over. I liked where I was, so I would say to them, it's okay to start over, try a new place to live. Maybe it would be better for you. Maybe you will be able to see new things.
Right when I walked into the school for the first time, there was a lot of stuff just down, broken, watermarks everywhere. It was really weird. It was just a weird feeling, honestly. Now the school is in pristine condition. There's a new construction project every year, and they finish it in due time, and everything's top notch.
I think that my family there with me all the time is really why I cope so well with it. You know, I know a lot of friends that didn't cope well with it, and they were really more confused than I was, being so young and everything being gone and you lose everything. But my family, we had tons of us, and my whole family was just around me the entire time, and we were together and as a unit, and just having all that, it kind of brought some normalcy into my life, whereas I didn't really get to see all of the hurt that everybody went through because we just coped with it together. So just knowing that your family was there at 100% of the time, it just helped you.
So just know that you did nothing. Just nature is ruthless sometimes. I guess it sounds cliche, and if I was a kid listening to Hang in There, I'd probably smack my teeth. But you have to hang in there, because the city will bounce back, not maybe in the way that you planned it to bounce back, but it's gonna bounce back. And then know that that your plans for your life and life's plan for your life don't always match up, and that's sometimes a good thing.
Well, our first house
Smells
was a
are always
smaller house.
familiar
My
in
parents wanted
places,
to
and I remember
they
the
wanted to
first time I
retire
came
in a
back
bigger
here
house, more
after
comfortable
it
home.
smelled the same.
And my
here.
dad,
Now,
his
I'm
family
thinking
did
seems like everyone
Resiliency is the ability to use difficult experiences to become stronger. The young men and women who shared their stories are athletes and scholars, artists and entrepreneurs. They described themselves as stronger, more outgoing, more adaptable, and more empathetic to the struggles of others as a result of their own experiences with the storm, breaches, evacuations, and rebuilding. They are the definition of resiliency.